Hi guys, we're going to do the Geometry A final exam review. So looking at number 1, are points C, G, and H collinear or non-collinear? So collinear means contained on the same line, non-collinear, not on the same line. So if we look at C, G, and H, they are definitely not on the same line. We cannot contain them on the same straight line. Number 2, are M, N, and O collinear? If so, name the line on which they lie. So we could look at M, N, and O and notice they are contained on the same straight line. So they are collinear, yes. If so, name the line on which they lie. We name a line with 2 points on that line. So we could name this line by MN, or we could call it NO, or we could call it MO. So as long as you have one of these options, and MN is the same as NM for a line, or ON or OM, any of those would be correct answers. Number 3, name a ray in the figure. We always name a ray by the end point first. So I would name this ray AB. Number 4, name a fourth point in plane WXV. So if we're going to contain these points in the same plane, I actually have to create a diagonal. So I'll kind of shade that in so you can see it. So if we've cut through that figure, what would be the other point that is in that plane? It would be point U. Number 5. If EF is 3x minus 14 and FG is 4x minus 19, and EG, the entire length, is 16, find the values of x. So what do I know about EF and FG compared to the entire piece? Both of these little pieces together make up the whole. So I can add these together. So 3x plus 4x is 7x. Negative 14 and negative 19, negative 33, is equal to 16. So I'm going to go ahead and add 33. And divide by 7. Since this says find the values of x, EF, and FG, I need to plug this back in. So I know x equals 7. So 3 times 7 is 21, minus 14 gives me 7. So EF is equal to 7. And 7 times 4 is 28, minus 19 gives me 9. And that should make sense, so 7 plus 9 is equal to 16. Number 6 is a little bit different. This says that T is the midpoint. So if something's a midpoint, that means it's directly between S and U evenly. So this segment is going to be congruent or the same length to that segment. So what can I do algebraically to solve for x? I know that these two measures are exactly the same. So what does that mean in numbers? They're equal. I will subtract 5 from both sides. So I have 4x and 28. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. X equals 7. Again, this asks for the measures of ST, TU, and SU. So I need to go ahead and plug those in. Let me adjust this camera. Alrighty. So ST is 9 times 7, or 63. TU, since we know they're congruent, should come out exactly the same. 5 times 7 plus 28 is 63. And then finally, it also wants the length of SU. if I know that each of these pieces are 63, the whole length is 126. Moving on. Number 7. If the measure of EOF is 26 and FOG is 38, then what is the measure of EOG? I wanted to highlight these to make sure that we know how to name angles. So we know that this second point in an angle is its vertex. But it doesn't just mean angle O. What part of angle O? So from E to O to F. So just that piece is 26 degrees and FOG is 38. So what would the entire angle be from E to O to G? 26 plus 38. Oops. EOG is the whole thing. So 26 plus 38, 64 degrees. Alrighty. Number 8, supplementary angles are two angles whose measures have the sum of 180 degrees. Complementary angles are two angles whose measures have a sum of 90 degrees. All right, thinking about that takes us into the next couple problems. Angle DFG and JKL are complementary angles. So what does complementary mean? Their sum is 90 degrees. So those same two angles are going to add up. So I just took x plus 2 and added x minus 4. And I know together they're 90 degrees. So this really means 2x, if I'm combining like terms, positive 2 and a negative 4 gives me minus 2 is equal to 90. I'll add 2 to both sides. 2x is equal to 92. Divide by 2, and I get x equals 46. Again, this says find the measure of each angle. So 46 minus 4 gives me 42 degrees, and 46 plus 2 is 48 degrees. And again, if I add them together to double check my work, 42 plus 48 is 90. Okay, number 10. Angles 1 and 2 are a linear pair. What does it mean to be a linear pair? Linear pairs are two angles that are adjacent, meaning next to each other, they share the same ray, and are supplementary. So linear pairs look like this. So angle 1 and angle 2. So together they add up to 180 degrees. So if I add these, x and x gives me 2x. A positive 77 and a negative 15 is 62. And I know together that's 180 degrees. So the next thing I'm going to do is subtract 62 from both sides. So 2x is equal to 118. And then I am going to divide both sides by 2. 59 degrees. Again, it asks us to find the measure of each angle. So I'm not done at x equals 59. I need to plug it back in. So 59 minus 15 gives me, the measure of angle 1 is 44. And the measure of angle 2 is 59 plus 77. But we also know that these two angles add up to 180. So to double check, I do know that those